Welcome back, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of your favorite real estate podcast on all of the interwebs, Liftoff. I'm joined by my co-host and father, Keith Myers, and we have two VIP guests today who have some pretty incredible facial hair, which is saying something because I take some pride in my mustache. Nimesh voted 8 years in a row the best beard in all of real estate. You can check, that's official. Those trophies in the back are actually for that. And then we've got Tyler Morton, who has an epic beard himself. So Mr. Clean Shaven Keith Myers here. I don't know. This isn't about beards or facial hair, but it's suddenly
Where are you
turning into
going?
that.
But it's
Anyway, without further ado, thank you guys for joining us.
oh, thanks for having us.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, the facial thing, you gotta have a spiel somewhere. Maybe I'm not smart enough to have a spiel, so I just do the beard. I'm the bearded broker.
Yeah, that's great. Do you get mistaken as James Harden ever?
Especially here in Houston, I get a lot of that. Not mistaken for him, but especially after I've been playing golf a lot, I get darker. Yeah, I'll be like, oh, hey, you're like trying to be like James Harden. Or is that James Harden on your t-shirt? I'm like,
Right.
no, that's me. That's me.
Yeah, that's fun.
You're like, you started it first. He was just copying you.
Yeah. And then the worst part about it all is that I don't like James Harden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, guys. As we mentioned, we've got two superstars here, both run very impressive companies. Tyler with companies throughout Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, and Nimesh in the great state of Texas. So we got a nice representation, as Derek comes from just north of Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm in SoCal, Westlake Village, specifically today. And what we'd like to do is just open it up and talk a little bit about insights from you guys, what is going on in the real estate market, how agents can leverage different things to be successful, the power of REMAX, and just good sales skills and things like that. Either one of you want to take a stab at any kind of start there?
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hand this off to Tyler because look, I've known Tyler for a while and what he does and how he's helped me and helped me help my people. And I don't want to pigeonhole him because he's a wonderful broker, but man, his number one thing is about tech and AI, right? And he's really good at. In fact, him and I talked this morning a little bit about what he's doing. So he's doing some other stuff, so he's always doing that. And hey, here's your handoff, or there's your volley, buddy.
Yeah, I think anytime that we see a market shift like we have, 2020 through 2022 was a gift, right? And then it was like, hey, let's get back to reality when 23, 24, and now 25. And I think it's an opportunity for agents. I think it's where REMAX really thrives. I started my company in 2007, as right before 2008 happened. So timing was perfect. And we became very tech centric. We didn't have 10,000 square feet and 10 employees working admin staff helping the agents. So we really had to systemize what we do to streamline our operations and make it more convenient for the agents. But I think that's where right now with the AI shift of technology, it's incredible what you can do just in 10 minutes a day. And so you could really be pumping out 10 times the content. Nimesh has got his shirt on. I've got my shirt on for branding. Utilize that with AI. And I tell agents, you should be spending at least a half hour to an hour a day on ChatGPT, coming up with content, developing stuff that you can put out there, because that alone will allow you to, it's more than 10x. It's probably 100x. If you spend an hour a day doing that, the amount of content, ideas, marketing, everything to do with real estate, it's just exponential what you can do just using AI. And there's so many new tools coming out daily. That's what I was just talking to you about before we started the call. I was out in California talking all about AI.
Right.
There's just so much cool stuff out there.
It really is. It's changing every day, isn't it? For more and more stuff.
Yeah. Google
it
just announced last week their new VO3, which is their video creator. And it's Hollywood's freaking out about it because it can create, we already had AI avatars, which you could clone yourself, but now you have AI can create a movie scene with a simple text prompt and it's realistic. Like I trust nothing anymore. I don't know if I'm even talking to you.
It's great.
No, it's interesting you say you don't trust anything anymore because I'm the same. And I'm on TikTok all the time, right? And I'll suddenly see Michael Jordan saying something. I'm like, wait, that's not Mike. Is that Mike? I don't know. And on TikTok now, they have to actually disclose that it's AI content or AI created. So at least that's good. But on any other platform, I don't know. I don't trust anybody on anything. I got to look it up 8 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it harder for us to be able to distinguish between what is artificial and what is real. And I think that can create some interesting dynamics as far as what's ethical too when it comes to the industry. And Tyler, to throw it back to you real quick again, just because I don't like hearing Nimesh talk at all ever. Just what would you say is the most important first step for agents to truly 10x or 100x their business utilizing AI beyond just spending time with it daily? Like,
Yeah.
what sort of ways could it have immediate impact with some of what they're doing?
So I think the hardest thing to overcome for a lot of agents is where to start because they don't know what to ask it. And when you don't know what to ask AI, what you should be asking it, and it will generate a list of questions for you. And that way it will better get to know what your business is like, how you want to proceed with your prompts and the results. And so I do have a weekly email for agents. And in today's email that's going out, I said, while you're going for a walk, you can do a voice chat with AI. Go take a walk and just ask. You could actually role play with AI to say, hey, pretend you're a client and help me overcome these objections. So just stuff like that, just practicing the business. But if you wanted to get started, I would grab images of ads that you like, just screenshot them on your phone and just say, hey, I want to create something like this for real estate and give it a little bit more information. And with their image creator, you can have instant graphics that you could be posting everywhere. And then, yeah, if you want to really get down the rabbit hole, start creating an AI avatar on stuff like HeyGen. It's HEYGEN. So it just requires a photo of you and you can do a voiceover or you can do like a 2-minute video and you could create so much content. I show agents all the time, take the information from your MLS. They give us monthly stats and just talk about those and have it up, do a green screen type video and then repurpose it. You're talking about, hey, how can I create 5 pieces of content from this one 60-second clip? And there's tons of ways that you can do that with AI. Just ask it and it will create so many different posts for Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Shorts, Reels, whatever you want to call it. Or just turn it into, hey, let's turn this into an email as well.
So it's great. It just ramps up the productivity. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would just say somebody told me something quite some time ago that treat it like it's a human, that like you're talking to an actual human, and maybe even name your guy something or gal. And because it really is, it's an amalgamation of what humans have done and said. So you've got the genius on the other side that will get to know you better and better. And the more detailed questions or prompts that you ask, the better results you get. So it's pretty amazing.
Keith, you just took the words out of my mouth there. You have somebody like Tyler that really is a genius about these things. Then you have someone like me that's like, okay, I'm forward. I try to be modern and all of that, but there's a reality to it too, right? And so 2 things that I get from Tyler, which I think everybody, especially if you're starting, should understand is, one, what you just said, these things are learning. They're learning. So it's not like Google where you ask Google a question and then the next day you ask Google another question and there's no history to it really. With AI, it truly is learning how you speak, how you talk, what kind of questions, what kind of market you're in, et cetera. And so it starts comprising more and more of that. So that's something that people should truly understand. And then the 2 is that line that Tyler gave me months ago, which I use in my office all the time. And I don't ever give him credit for it. It's just like I am, which is it's garbage in, garbage out, right? And so that's what I think he's trying to get at when you practice with AI is that if you just say, hey, ChatGPT or whatever, hey, Victoria, what's going on in my market? All right, that's a pretty generalized statement, right? And you can get some ideas and stuff like that. But then you have to start digging in deeper when it comes to the actual neighborhoods. Maybe you're talking about listings. Maybe you're talking about buyers. You're talking about inventory, whatever it is. As you start putting more and more into it, the better output you get.
Yeah, it's definitely garbage in, garbage out. And that's why we see so many agents that are using it just for listing descriptions. I think that's the primary use of a real estate agent is, hey, write a listing description because it's something we hate doing. But if you improve that prompt, and actually like a month ago, one of the founders of OpenAI came out and said, here's the perfect prompt. So I screenshotted that from Instagram, threw it into ChatGPT and said, hey, rewrite this prompt to help me write better listing descriptions. And so now I've got this prompt that I can share with my agents or share with anyone that better identifies how, because right now it's just, when you see these, you're starting to recognize them. It's just adjective. But it goes and it says, hey, write the listing description like this. And it gives the example, but then you want it to even take it a step further and say, who's the most likely buyer for this property? Is it luxury? Is it a move up buyer? Is it an investment? Is it low maintenance, like a condo buyer? Because that's who you want to speak to. That's your audience. And it will reword that listing description much better and target that audience way better than I could possibly do. But I think a lot of people are fearful that, hey, AI, when we talk about, hey, Hollywood's getting scared of this AI that's coming out for video generation, everybody's worried like, hey, AI is going to take our jobs. I don't think that's going to happen in the next 5 years. It's moving rapidly.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't replace is the human interaction. And so that's where I think you can utilize it to 10x your content, because people are going to work with you if they know, like, and trust you. And I forget what the stat is. It's like 80% of people say they would recommend their agent or use them again, but only 27% do. And it's because we do a terrible job of communicating with our past clients.
Yeah, they would use them if they could just remember their name. They could do a good job.
Yeah, I tell agents they should be emailing their clients once a week. And they're like, whoa, that's way too much. And I'm like, it's not if you're providing them value. And so if you're just cramming real estate down their throat, they're probably going to be like, unsubscribe and then forget about you in 3 years. But if you're telling them what's going on in the market, what's going on, you can use AI to create emails every week and it will write them for you. So you just copy and paste. Hey, here's the top 5 Mother's Day brunch spots in whatever city you're in. Send that out.
So go, like, you're ready to sell, and I heart referrals. Come on. But on the angle of like listing presentations, I can see where we can go, hey, craft me a specific listing presentation for Nimesh Patel on 123 Any Street, which has a 2,580 square foot house on a blah, 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 but pull in the fact that we're with REMAX and some of the benefits of REMAX, and then REMAX 1 and our history and that sort of thing. And then finally me, some of my successes about it. I haven't done it yet, so obviously I'm not doing a great job of, but really detailed stuff and spitting out something so exclusive and tailor-made that I think it would be great. So have you explored that side yet?
Yeah, you can definitely tailor it or customize it that way. And I would give it more background and talk about, hey, Nimesh is thinking about selling. He's not in a hurry. He's a single guy with a few dogs, and give the background on him so that it knows who I'm talking to. Again, it's knowing your audience. And we talk about AI sounding robotic, but a lot of times I think listing agents do. They sound robotic because their presentation's the same every time. Right. But you have to meet buyers or sellers where they're at in the process. Have they done it one time or have they done it 10? What is the reason that they're selling? Is it a happy reason or is it an unfortunate event? And I think that's where a lot of agents, we skip that step of asking the questions. It's kind of like the old, let's see, here's one. Sell me this pen, right?
Yeah.
If I don't know why you need the pen, I can't sell it to you. I think it's the exact same thing with your prompts for AI or even just your presentations in general.
I thought it might be a good thing. You guys know High Note or use High Note?
I do not.
You know what I'm talking? Okay. It's a product that you can send an email with. You can put whatever you want in there, and it's in little like sections. You could put a listing agreement for them to take a look at. You could put all your background. You could put your testimonials. You could put video. You could do all kind of fun stuff, as little or as much as you want to put in. You say, listen, you do your pre-qual interview before you go on it, set the appointment, say, I'm going to send over an email, a little bit of background information about myself and my firm. I feel it helps people craft questions when we meet. We'll be able to get right down to business and you'll know a little bit about me, and I won't have to talk too much about that. Will you open and take a look at it? And the beauty of it is when they open it, how long they open it, what parts they look at, how long they looked at all those things. So then you could follow up and say, did he get a chance to see my email when they haven't? But then once you arrive there, you can say, oh, they spent a lot of time on this one, not so much on that. And it just gives you a little advanced notice. But then using AI and really creating some personalized stuff, like knowing Nimesh has a dog and he's no hurry to sell, and by asking some questions in a phone interview first, and just speaking on the fly, I think we could do something really quite magnificent. And we all know it's all listing, right? The listings have always been key in real estate, and for the foreseeable future, that's where the money is. And that's where you control your future as an agent.
Absolutely. I think, what's the name of that again, Keith?
High no. H
I know.
A
Okay.
G H no.
Cool. Take a look at that. Just a little bit of segue into all of this AI stuff and presentations and how agents can use it. Both Tyler and I are part of the REMAX inaugural Trailblazers group that got launched at R4, and we had another meeting yesterday. And one of the things they were talking about were some of these apps and things that they've announced. Most recently, they did Max Engage, right? And it's content, social media, and gamifying how to do some things, and it's neat, so we can all get a little bit more loud. We love it, and we got to play with it prior to. And now that they launched it, one of the meetings that we talked about yesterday, and one of the things we talked about yesterday was that they're layering it more and more. So they're adding more stuff to it, and they are going to add things like what you guys are both talking about right here. Amber from Luxury was on, and so she's part of now presentations and things like that. So to create these listing agreements, or listing presentations, but not just a generic listing presentation. And Tyler, you're right. I just thought about it while you were talking. I'm like, I wonder how many times I sound like an idiot just saying the same thing over and not getting into more details. So they're starting to add a little bit more of that into ours too. So we're going to have some pretty cool tools coming up in the next couple of months here on that note.
Yeah, to go off what you're saying, if we really believe that we're in a relationship first industry, then you can't just fire from the hip when you're going about trying to establish that trust and build that rapport. There has to be a level of intention where you're discovering what's most important with them. And I think with anything in our industry too, the best way to do that is to ask questions. And I love, Tyler, how you talked about, like, a lot of times people don't know what to ask ChatGPT. So ask ChatGPT what to ask it. And I think with that, if truly, and to give credit where credit's due, I think I heard this from Ben Fairfield. He said that, and I think he was quoting like Jim Rohn or something like that, but he was mentioning how we're paid to the level of which, like, the quality of questions that we ask. And so really when it comes down to it, the better questions that we can ask, the more we're going to be able to discover about what's most important to a prospective buyer or seller. And that gives us a higher chance of being able to truly get to the heart of the matter. That connects the bridge, that establishes that trust. And from there, then the rest is history, hopefully. But I think when people fall into the temptation of becoming too robotic, then it also takes away a lot of the joy in the process. To Nimesh, I'll throw it to you. What would you say to somebody who's experiencing some of the burnout in that, and how to rediscover some of their passion and maybe asking better questions or developing those relationships? Because again, to give credit where credit's due, you're the king of relationships, man. You really killed that. So
yeah, no, it's a good question, Derek. We're all going through it right now. I've talked to about 5 different people. Actually, Tyler himself is probably laughing because he's like, Nimesh has called me like 8 times over the past week talking about burnout and all of that.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
his answer is going to be golf.
Yeah, exactly. I go out and play golf. But it's funny because at one time, I'm sitting here trying to tell all of my agents, hey, you got to show some real grit right now going through this. Tyler brought up being out in 2007. I was in real estate back then, and I remember going through all of that. I bought my firm in 2009, so I still wasn't over. You have those examples, people that go up and down through COVID, and you want to give these examples, whether it's yourself or others, and you want people to persevere and have that grit and get through it. But man, you're right, that grind, it gets to you. And so how do you bring that joy back? And the hardest part for me, which I've been doing a lot more, is letting go of things, right? I want to be like Tyler. I do. We mastermind, we talk all the time. I want to do these things that he does because, one, I know it's going to make my business and life easier down the road, but I don't want to get into it right this moment because it's just too much on my plate. So I'm starting to take a lot of things off my plate. I don't have to be about every single mention that is offered. I don't need to go to it. I don't have to get on every single app that's out there, not just REMAX, but every real estate app possible. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm telling people to step back a little bit. Step back and find the things that are fun for them. And all jokes aside, yeah, golf is fun for me, but I'm actually out showing clients again, it's interesting because I don't do that much. I'll go on listing appointments, but I don't show. But I'm starting to do that because I enjoy talking to new customers that have never bought a house before and being able to really dig in and say, hey, here's what we need to watch out for. And I really want to hold your hand through this process. That gives me joy, right? And so as you start stepping back from everything and not trying to be like everyone else out there, I think you'll find that. And when you find that joy, then we all know work is easy then. So that's my simple part. But the second part is back what you said is relationships. I'm leaning on everybody. The amount of phone calls I'm making, just chatting with people. Sometimes it's that whole misery loves company. So you call somebody and they're like, man, I hate real estate right now, or I hate being a broker right now, and I hate this. And then you're like, okay, whew, it's not just me, right? But it's not the negative part of it. It's also the fun part. Like I had a great conversation right before this with a very good broker friend of mine in the Northeast. And she's been a little missing, a little bit, just hasn't been engaged and all that quite a bit lately. And she said, okay, I can't tell you, but I'm going to show you. So she sent me a text while I'm on the phone. And it's of her and her husband holding up a picture of they're about to have a baby. So I was like, oh, wow. So that's why you've been missing. But the main thing about that was talking to her gave me joy again that, hey, wow, that something good's happening to her. So let me translate that into my life and something like that more. So
Yeah, to
it's my
tag.
easy.
Oh, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was just going to say, to tag onto that, I find when agents are in that burnout phase, if you can get them to just do something that's productive and helpful to bring joy to somebody else, it's not necessarily real estate related, but tell them to go to 5 past clients and drop off a local bakery, half a dozen cookies or something like that. The amount of texts that they're going to get back just show up unprompted, don't schedule it or anything like that, but go drop off a gift to 5 past clients. The amount of texts that they're going to get just from those 5, 6 clients, whatever it is going to help them remember why they do this. That's the reason we got in this business. And it's easy to become disenfranchised with the ins and outs of every day. But if they can get those just quick little texts that say, hey, thank you so much, it means the world to them.
I love that, Tyler. I'm going to use that. But similar to that, what I've told my team is stop trying to take your whole database and tackling it, right? Because again, that's what's causing a lot of this, right?
Yeah.
So what we've done is every week they've just picked a random 5 people. And I tell them either I want you to text them, call them, Facebook them, Instagram them, or go visit them. One of the two, but just 5 people a week. And that's it. You don't have to tackle the whole database. And so as they're doing that, they're finding little joys in that. Like, oh, got a new dog. This kid just graduated. So-and-so this, right? And so they're not talking about real estate. They're just getting that conversation back. They're getting that humanity back, I guess what you want to call it, versus trying to be so robotic on all the other things. And again, it's tough because we have all these real estate coaches and people like me that are your broker telling you, I need you to be consistent. I need you to do this. I need you to do this and push through all of this. And so there's that side of it. Yet you got to find that humanity and fun as well. So I like that one, Tyler.
Yeah.
I would say get in the office too.
What's that?
Get in the office too. Since COVID, office participation is obviously down, I think, across all companies. I use this all the time, but you play better golf with better golfers. And so if you're surrounding yourself with people that are in the office consistently, yeah, you can certainly get caught up in water cooler talk, but I think seeing people be productive is going to help them be productive as well.
Yeah. You hear about other people's wins and what might be working for them. That could inspire something that leads to a breakthrough for another person.
Yeah.
Or it's just simply the joy of interacting. I think that we're wired for connection. And again, kind of like you were talking about, Tyler, like since COVID, a lot of people have learned to just work from home exclusively. And there is a longing. In fact, my dad and I were talking with an agent outside of our company who was talking about how much she missed the water cooler talk and longs for some of what, like the former structure, what getting in the office, really just like having that energy, because productivity begets productivity. That becomes contagious. And I couldn't agree more.
The irony too is that there's times I've never been a guy who worked from home. I've always had a home office, but I like to get in the office. But I've adjusted too, and there's times it saves the drive. If I want to have lunch, I can eat 10 minutes at the kitchen and no distractions and just get to work. So no distractions so that I can talk to people. And then I go to the office, but then I talk to people, which may keep me from talking to people. But it's all developing those relationships. So there's a time and place for working from a quiet place, wherever that might be. But then there also is some real value for the collaboration that you're talking about, Tyler.
Yeah. Have you guys seen it's not often that I give Texas credit for anything, but have you seen the school down in Texas that's like using AI to teach the kids?
No.
It's
No.
incredible. It's incredible. It's this private school. I think it's called Alpha. But for 2 hours a day, the kids are on their computer learning, and it's customized to the kid and where they're at. So when we talk about like meeting a client where they're at in the process, that's what AI is doing for this learning track. And so they spend 2 hours a day, and then they have the rest of the day to do other things that they enjoy doing. So it goes back to my brother. When I was in college, I lived with my brother when I got my real estate license. And he asked me the question, what are you going to do tomorrow when you wake up to make money? And it's to your point, Keith, it was, hey, what are the things that I need to set aside time for prospecting or whatever it is that I have no distractions versus what can I be in the office doing and have those interactions? Because just like people selling real estate, we have to be, as brokers, we have to be in the office. Otherwise, we lose that face time with the agents. And from a retention standpoint, that's so important. But yeah, I thought it was cool that this school in Texas was doing that. And they're testing in the top 1% to 2% of the country.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That Texas.
You know what? That's great. It just shows that sometimes don't let school get in the way of your education. In other words, work real hard and make it fun for those 2 hours. And go have fun and play with kids and get dirty and learn how to relate with other people. That's so great.
Yeah.
Sometimes we also look at things that one will go, God, that's a lot of wasted time and money. Recently was talking to Nimesh, and you were sharing, that you try to go to all the events that you can, and it costs some money, but what did it help you do? Share that a little bit. What did it help you do in 2024? These distractive, wasted time, flying to different cities and spending some money.
They're write-offs.
Yeah, no, I know where you're getting at. And we calculated from these conferences and then just the relationships being built and to continue to nurture those relationships. My team got 42. I'm not talking about brokerage. Me personally I got 42 referrals last year. Okay. 42. That's a career for people. That's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years worth of business for some people. And obviously I've got a big team, but 42 referrals. And that's just because they get to know me, I'm top of mind, they understand what I do, the simple things. And then they're like, okay, listen, I've been with this guy. I think my clients will get along with this guy as well, right? Because we're always interviewing, no matter what, we're always interviewing for something. And so when I have agents that call me and say, hey, listen, I'm going to set you up with this perfect client of mine that's going to get along with you because I already know what you do and how you act and how you are and all of that kind of stuff. So I spent a lot of time going to these things, and Tyler and I, to this day, will still joke with pretty much anybody and everybody. We learn more at the bar than we do actually in the class physically. And it's sad to say that because him and I have both been asked to speak at things and teach things and all that. So I don't want anybody not coming to my stuff, but we learn more there, and not just learn more, but develop for yourself too. So when I look at this, and I think I might have told a couple of you guys before, but my dad is my accountant. My actual dad is my CPA. And so it's a little crazy, okay? It's like, hey, Dad, are you dad today or are you accountant? Which one are you? And Derek, you understand, working with your dad.
No idea. Don't know what that's like.
Yeah. And so I know there's been times where he'll come up and say, hey, look at these charges. Are you trying to buy the bar or what are you doing? And I'm like, are you being dad or are you being accountant? Which one are you trying to be right now? But anyway, so he was going through some of my stuff post-COVID, right? Once COVID lifted and then 2022-ish when everyone's like, okay, we got to get out now, right? Yeah. So I went on every single convention I could go to, and he added it all up, and it's mind-blowing how much I spent at these places overall, from flights to hotels to food, including obviously R4, Vegas, all of that. And then at first I was like a little embarrassed to tell him, like, yeah, I spent over $100,000 doing that. I get that, what you're trying to get at, tell me. But then I was like, wait, hold on. Let's reverse that. And I said, let's talk about how much I've made from that too. And it can't always just be about that because there's a mental aspect of it for me that was good. But also I wanted to show him, because he's an accountant, the financial side. So we looked into just doing dumb math. And I think, Tyler, I was doing the dumb math with you on this 42 referrals, my average sales price, what we made from it, et cetera. And it was over $475,000. Okay. So in $475,000 that I made from spending $100,000 over the past 2-3 years,
Oh, so
I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Yeah. My dad was like, okay, I can't say anything to you anymore. Go do whatever you want to do. Um, but I've met you guys at these conferences,
Yep.
right? I met Tyler at these places, and you develop relationships. You get to see different perspectives of how things work, and what works for you in Southern Cali might not work for me in Texas. But what I guarantee this, you're doing something successful there that's going to spur an idea or thought for me to take back to Texas and do something there.
Sure.
And it can't just be copying you. It's going to be like, hey, this is my idea, my way of doing things, but I got it from Keith and from Derek or from Tyler. And otherwise, I wouldn't have even thought about it, right? So that's why it's important for people to educate themselves, to create relationships, to get out and about, and meet more and more people, for sure.
And for those REMAX agents watching this and those that are not yet REMAX agents, one of the ways that you also connect is, like you said, on Trailblazers, a different group, Facebook group. So it doesn't always mean you have to jump a plane, get a hotel room in Vegas or what have you. It sometimes can be done in this vehicle where you're connecting with people, or you're simply firing out a how you doing text to somebody and just staying in contact with those that you find joy from. And then, you spend time with the people you find joy with, and then the money will follow.
Yeah, no, for sure. And a lot of things will follow in a positive way. I'm in my 50s, and all of my friends, which is so interesting, all of my best friends, none of them are on social media, or hardly. They don't like social media. They're anti-social media. They think it's the devil, and I get their reasonings for it, but I absolutely love it because I've always been a social person in general. So now, instead of having to go into a dinner party or somebody's house and meeting 20, 30 people and trying to figure out how to get to know all of these 20, 30 people, I have a platform where I can get to meet thousands of people at the same time, or they can get to know me thousands at a time. But as far as keeping up with people, that's it. That's what I've made this comment a couple of times in some of my classes, but every morning when I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm on my social media looking at what's going on for that day, who's doing what. And then in the evening, I'm doing the same thing, looking at my social media. And it lets me keep up with people. It lets me learn some things. It lets me help share some things too. And the amount of different groups that there are on social media that everybody's created, I think everyone should be a part of that, because you can be people under the age of 30 trying to do real estate, right? Or people that just want to do AI and real estate. There's so many different groups that you can find that will then cater to your business needs.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a good reminder too, as you've been talking about how to actually practice the art of relationships, if you will, building those connections. Not to sound too glib or cliche, but there is a bit of truth to the old adage that your network is your net worth, right?
Yeah.
It is truly the people that you know. And I think that's why it's become such a harped on point that, hey, work your sphere. Well, the same could be applied to from a leadership perspective too. Like you've lived out, Nimesh, with all the traveling you've done and everything. But, in talking about really going with the joy and remembering those things that both prioritize the relationship and the network building and the joy of the experience that yields great results, it made me think of a quote that I've heard a while back that I pulled up and I want to read. It's by Joseph Campbell, a well-known author. But he says, if you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track which has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life you ought to be living is the one you are living. Follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. And I love that because sometimes we get so stuck in the grind mentality that what's the inevitable result? Burnout, like we were talking about earlier. But if we're following our bliss, being true to our passions, staying really grounded in our strengths, then it's going to open doors to opportunities that have been there all along, namely relationships to people who are like, oh my gosh, Tyler, I'm so glad that we're talking right now because I was just thinking about listing. You know what I mean? Like, and how many times that's going to happen and has probably happened to each and every one of you, either listening or you guys who I'm talking to right now. But yeah, what do you guys think about some of that? Does that ring true in your experience?
Yeah.
100%. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say Nimesh's superpower is connecting people. I don't know if you guys have been to a conference with him, but if you're trying to go somewhere with him, go ahead and plan for like an extra half hour because he's going to stop and talk to everybody. Which is actually, I think we made a podcast out of that last time we were wherever we were. So I was like, hey, this is a great podcast idea, is talking about how to make the most out of conferences and networking. So, and yeah, I'm guilty of that. Like a lot of agents where I go to a conference and I want to go see the speakers and that's it. Like I want to shut off and just go to the bar afterwards. But if you spend that extra time with finding your bliss, if you will, it's way better than spending money on buying leads, right? So go to those extra networking events. You'll have relationships. You talked about Trailblazers, Nimesh. I just got a referral from Jake out of Columbus. You're running that group. And so find your tribe and work whatever niche that you enjoy working and it doesn't feel as much like work.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that a little bit, I love that quote, by the way. That was great. Being a little bit older, I guess, I don't want to keep saying older, but being a little bit more experienced, it's hard to tell people that are newer into our industry or younger in our industry to say, look, these are things that actually matter. And so you read that quote to somebody that just got into it, they're going to be like, what are you showing me? Like, that's not telling me how to do anything. That didn't tell me anything. But as I look back at my life and my history and my work, and I'm like, yeah, exactly what you just said is exactly what I've been doing. And hopefully I'm striving to do a little bit more of that for sure. And then just to piggyback a little bit more about these conferences, I have 2 agents that are moving to Houston that are going to come join my firm or at least interview with me because I've met their broker owner or I've met their team leader. One's out of Denver and one's out of Missouri. And because of my relationships with their team leaders and their broker owner, they forced them to talk to me right off the bat. Houston is huge. It's massive. We have tons of REMAX brokerages here, and they're all over the place. You can drive an hour and a half and still be in Houston area, right? Well, but it didn't matter because of relationships that I forged with those people. They're like, nope, you have to talk to Nimesh and nobody else. And simple as that. And I don't know. I feel good about it. I talked to one last night. It felt fun. And then she's like, I think I've seen you. You're the guy that everybody's around whenever they go to these conferences, right? And they're like, do you have a ponytail? Like, I'm like, yes, I do. Yeah, I do. So anyway,
You like at the man bun, okay?
Yeah. And then I'm like, but that's what you just said. That's my bliss to feel that and to know that's what they remember me for at least a little bit. And then after that, it's to translate this to an agent getting customers or having the same type of relationship with customers is once you get that hook, it's now you show off your knowledge and your professionalism, your tools, your techniques, your AI, whatever it is. Now you can show all that off because they actually have understood, they actually know who you are and they trust you. And what'd you say, Tyler? They know you, trust you.
No, like, and trust.
Yeah, and all that. So I think that's the key. That's why I love doing what I do. My superpower is definitely relationships and connecting people, but I think it goes deeper than that once all of that has happened.
I know we're going to run short on time. I'd like to do this like Joe Rogan style and do a 3-hour deal, but I'm more respectful. But since we have the luxury of having the tech guru AI stud Tyler, can you come up with you gave us some real good ideas to get started with ChatGPT and other whatever AI source that you enjoy or connect with. But how about some other tools that I think might be helpful? Do you use Gamma or?
Yeah. So we do a lot of long form content like this podcast, and I would encourage agents to do the same thing. Start a local podcast, interview local business owners, and then take that long form content and throw it into, I think CapCut just released this, but we use Opus. Opus Clip will take your long form content, cut it into a bunch of shorts and reels. And so something that's 45 minutes to an hour long, you're going to have 50 pieces of content. So that's one of my favorites, and it's cheap. I think it's on sale right now for like $14 a month, and it's by far worth its weight in gold. Google Notebook's another one that I use. If you want to create a podcast where you're not talking, you can take your MLS stats, throw them in there. You could just put an image in there, or you could put a link to like your MLS if it has it on the homepage, and it will create a podcast just based on that. And it's 2 AIs talking to each other, and it's insane. Wow. You can publish that. There's so many cool ones out there. Yeah.
Tyler, just to be clear, I got to jump in on this. Just to be clear, tell them about like how you have agents that come in and just do a quick video or a picture or whatever, and then you turn that into AI about talking about a house on the MLS without them ever being there.
Yeah, that's Hey Jen. That's creating their AI avatar, and it's super cool. That one's more expensive. I would say don't do it if you're not going to use it. And it's not perfect by any means, but I think you can have some fun with it and certainly publish a lot of content. 11 Labs, if you want to clone your voice, that's a cool one. What else? Oh, Apple Notes. As dumb as this sounds. If you hit the paperclip in Apple Notes, hit new recording, and you can record your meetings. So record your team meetings, your office meetings, your client meetings. And then at the end of it, it will give you the transcription. Throw that in a ChatGPT and summarize it. And then lastly, and I know REMAX is in talks with this company. This is one of my favorites. This is B. It's BEE.computer. And it's AI that listens 24/7. It summarizes my day, gives me action items for tomorrow, works with Apple reminders, and REMAX is talking with them to incorporate it into Bold Trail.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all overwhelming when there's so much, but I think you just got to get started, right?
Yeah.
I love that you talked about, hey, just start talking to ChatGPT, just for the shits and giggles, just do it. Hey, you'll be proud of me. So on my meetings and stuff, I have them recorded, and then I throw it in to, I have my people do it, but throw it into AI, and then they create a whole summary outline of everything. And so for all the people that weren't there,
Right.
instead of me trying to just send a video or just send my notes or something, it comes out really nicely. And I think you brought this up the other day when you were teaching, having it summarized, and now you create a syllabus for future stuff, right? So absolutely love that.
Yeah, I took my recordings from when I was speaking out in California. I took the recordings and threw that into TurboScribe, which transcribed everything for me. You get 3 free a day, and it was over an hour. So I transcribed all that. I threw that into ChatGPT and said, hey, turn this into a syllabus so I could send it to Ohio Division of Real Estate for CE. So it created the entire course for me, and I didn't have to do it.
That's incredible.
Well, that's
Yeah,
right.
so if I'm an agent just getting started, I would go to ChatGPT and just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. What can AI do for me? And see what it says, and then pick and choose what you like and ask it to expand on certain ideas.
So true. That's awesome. Can't wait to play around some more today.
Yeah, I know, right?
Follow your bliss and playing with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
It's great. All right. Again, thank you very much. We really appreciated and enjoyed this. Derek, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I think that you summed it up pretty well. We'll leave some notes in the description of how to get in touch with either Nimesh or Tyler. Guys, thank you for being part of the podcast today and for sharing some of your wisdom and your expertise. It's a lot of fun. We'll have to do this again, and definitely need to keep twisting my dad's arm about going to BOC. So
I was just about to say that. Let's do it. Let's do it again at BOC
Let's do it.
live.
All right. Let's
live.
We'll do it. Right on.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
All right.
Have a great
Thank you.